What's up guys, it's SammyCheez here, back with another video. Now in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to make Flappy Bird on Scratch. Now this is really simple and easy, so if you're doing it for a school project, I would highly recommend doing this. And if you're completely new to Scratch, this is also great too. So first thing you want to do is make sure you're signed in and press create. Now once you've done that, all you want to do is delete the Scratch cat and call this Flappy Bird. Right now, I'll put a quick preview of what the game looks like on the screen before we continue. So the first thing you want to do is go down to this little cat and press paint. Next, you want to go to bitmap, change the color to a nice blue, press the paint bucket, and then press the middle of the screen. Go back to vector mode by pressing that little button down there. And now you can start designing what your game will look like. So this is the background, this is not the entire game, so keep that in mind. So if you go to this little square tool here, you can actually make an outline and adjust it. So you can also change the outline number by putting the brightness to 100. I recommend making this a green grass, not too much, but as you can see that's too green, so I'm going to bring it down to make it look a little bit more realistic. Go to fill, make this like a dirt, so I would go to orange first, and then bring brightness or saturation down and mix it until you like it. Right now, I'll put a time lapse of me making the background. Now that you're done with your background, let's get on to the coding. First thing you want to do is rename this to background 1. Then go to code, go to variables, make a variable, call this x pause for position, so x position 1. Now make y position 1. Now make x position 2. And now make y position 2. So these will make the background move and stuff. Anyway, for this first background, we will be only using x pause 1 and y pause 1. So put in this following script into the background number 1. First, do one green flag clicked, looks, go to back layer, change this to back. Now go to variables, set x pause 1 to 0. Duplicate that, set y pause 1 to 0. Next, go into motion, go to x, variables, x pause 1 for x, y pause 1 for y. Now grab a forever block and control, and then put in the forever block, go to variables, go to change, x pause 1, this is how fast it's going to move, by -3. So this is how fast this will move. Then go to motion, go to x, go into variables, x pause 1 and x, y pause 1 and y. Drag that under that. Next, go to if in control, put that there. Go to operators, grab this block, change the end of it to -480. Now put in the other side of the block, x pause 1, set x pause 1 to 480 in the positives. So the script wasn't actually by me. I'll put the link in the description for the person who made this, so big shout out. As you can see, this is how fast your backdrop will move, and then it just repeats over and goes the other way. But we need another backdrop, so it's a continuous scrolling background. So all you have to do is really just duplicate this. As you can see, it already makes itself background 2. And all you have to do for background 2 is really just replace everything with 2. So x pause 2, y pause 2. But we're not done yet. Change the x pause 2 to positive 480 on here. And also change out these. So let's quickly do that. X pause 2, y pause 2. Change this to x pause 2 by -3. Make sure it's the same. Change out these. X pause 2. Y pause 2. Oops, that's x pause 2 again. Y pause 2. And now change this to x pause 2. Make sure it's that. Make sure that's the same. Change this to xpos 2. So this is what yours should look like. And if you're wondering how to get rid of the small little white line and this little green line in the middle, all you have to do is go to costumes, stop the project, and you want to change this outline. So click on the original square, change the outline to 0, go to the line tool, turn the brightness all the way up, find the same green, make the outline the same as it was before. Mine was 14. As you can see, I'm going to change that green a little bit this way, turn down the brightness a little bit, hold shift and draw on it just like this. Next, what you want to do is you just want to select your line, copy it, go to the other background, change the outline to 0 on the other square, paste the line by pressing Ctrl V, and now your line should be no line in the middle, but now you want to fix the blue. So all you have to do is stop the project again, click on the blue background, drag out both sides of it just like this. Make sure to do this on both. Click on it, drag out both sides. Don't drag them out too far or it's going to cover up these buildings that are supposed to be there. So just drag it out just a little bit more. As you can see, I need to pull this one back. So it should look something like this when it's all said and done. As you can see, I dragged this out too far again. So if I just bring this in a little bit over the line, this should be our final result of the scrolling background. As you can see, it works and it looks really good. So now let's get on to coding the bird and the tube. So first, we will be making the Flappy Bird. So if you go down here, paint, and you can draw your Flappy Bird, and then we will get into the coding. I will see you guys once I'm done with my Flappy Bird. Alright guys, so I just finished making my Flappy Bird. Now we need to make a few variables. So the first variable is called old y. The second one is called score. The one after that is called score number 2. The one after that is called xval. The other one is called yval. Now once you have all those, you can hide all of them except for score, which you can leave right there. Drag it up there so it looks nice. And now we can get into coding the Flappy Bird. First thing you want to do is go into events, one green flag clicked, forever. So this is going to make the Flappy Bird have gravity. So go to variables, change this to yval, change this to negative 0.08, drag that on top there. Next you want to go to set old y to y position, put that under there just like that. Change yval, which should be right here, go down to variables, make this yval, put that right there. Then grab a set, put this as yval, go into operators, grab the -1. Now go back into variables and go old y, motion, y position, right here. And that is your script for the gravity of the bird. Next thing we will be doing is making the Flappy Bird jump. First thing you are going to want to do is to choose a sound effect for the jump. So sound effects, choose a sound, and I'm actually going to use jump. Alright, so now that you have your sound effect for the jumping, what you want to do is go into events, control, forever, if, go to sensing, space key pressed, sounds, start sound jump, variables, change, yval by 3, put that there, go into control, wait until, then go back into operators, not, go into sensing, key space pressed, and this will make the bird jump. Alright, so let's put in our last script. So one green flag clicked, variables, set, change this to score to 0, looks, show. So now we need to find a good size. So 100%, if you're wondering, this is what my Flappy Bird looked like. It was way too big. So what I did is I messed with the size until it was about this big. So I'll do it in comparison to my ground. It's about that big. It can easily fit through the tubes that we are going to make. So I'd say this size, not 25%, but how big this looks is a good size. Alright, so let's continue the script. Next you want to go to variables, set, yval, set, xval to 0, just put that there. Go to motion, go to x0, y0. Now we will be making the barriers for the Flappy Bird. So the barriers I'm talking about is the one that if it hits the ground, it loses. If it hits the sky, it loses. Also, we need to make a barrier here. to make these barriers, all you need to do is go to paint, go to the line tool. I'd say make it black. Then what you want to do is hold shift and draw in the middle, just like this. You get a perfect line, go to your pointer tool, and just drag it to the middle. Now the coding for this is relatively simple. All you have to do is go to events, one green flag clicked, looks, show, sets right here, ghost, effect to 100. You also want to make a new broadcast, so go into events, when I receive, game over. So make a new one called game over. But on that game over script, just put hide. So you can call this ground. By putting this line here, it allows the Flappy Bird to lose. Let's make the other lines. Let's make the other lines. What you can actually do is duplicate this and call this sky. And this will be its X and Y position. So also, I'd recommend putting in a motion, go to X, blah, 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 wherever it is. So for example, my sky one is actually at these coordinates. So drag that onto the one green flag clicked. My ground one is actually at these coordinates. So just go back here and drag it to these coordinates. Alright, so let's make our final barrier. What you want to do is go to paint, line tool, hold shift and make it vertical, like across the middle. Now go to your pointer tool, make sure it's exactly in the middle, just like this. Now you can code it. For the coding, just go into your ground and drag everything into sprite 1, or whatever you call that. For example, I'm going to call this last line. Then as you can see, the code will pop up in your sprite if you actually drag it from other sprites, just like on top of it, just like I showed. And if you go back into your other sprite, you can get rid of the X and Y position. I say that is a good X and Y position. Put that there. And now you should have 3 barrier lines so that your Flappy Bird will lose when it touches these two. And this one is special. I'll explain it later. Now we will be making a tube. Go to paint. And you want to make sure your outline is different than every single color in your game. So it can't be black because I have black. It can't be white because I have white. It can't be this yellow. And it can't be any of the colors on the Flappy Bird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my saturation to 0 and change my brightness to a nice gray that I don't have. Next, my fill can be green as normal. So let's find a good green here. I'd say I like this one. Bring the darkness down a little bit. And now what you want to do is you actually just want to draw a rectangle. Align it to the middle. Then what you want to do is go to your pointer tool and you can drag it down just like this, and you can actually make your tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this, bring it back to the middle, do the same thing up here to make a tube. Now what I want to do is I want to go back to the square tool and make the ends of one. Then what I can do is I can duplicate the ends of one, make sure I can align it like the old one with my arrow key so everything's perfect and even. And then just hold down arrow key until it gets to my position. Now as you can see, we have a simple tube that is in the middle, but we still need to add something. Go to your circle tool, change it to a nice yellow that you don't have, change the outline to 0, go to the middle, hold shift, and draw a coin, just like that. So this is our first tube. Now what you want to do is you actually want to select the entire thing, Control C, aka copy, and paint a new sprite. Paste this entire thing. Now what you want to do is you want to select these rectangles for your tube, and you can either make different variations of tube. For example, I'm going to make a really low one, so what I do is I change this by this, so it's always in the middle. Select my other tube part, hold the down arrow key, so I don't have to misalign it, so it's always in the middle. Then what I can do is I can just change this to go down, go like that, bring this one down, and then I can finally bring my coin down with my arrow keys. Now you also want to make sure that your opening isn't too small. So I think this opening is too small because the coin is touching both of the actual tube ends. So I'm going to bring this tube up. Now that you have that, paint another sprite and paste it. Now I'm going to make a tall one. So I'm going to go up, bring this one up, bring everything else up with my up arrow key, just like this. And the reason why I'm doing my arrow keys is so nothing gets misaligned, so it's always in line. Now you can make more than 3 different tube variations. I only made 3 for the video, but you can make like 20 different ones of these, so it's always different when the tube comes back. You can actually name the sprite tube now. Now for the code, go into events, control, forever block, put in the forever block, motion, change, X by, put -3. Put that in there. and then grab a go to X and Y block, change the X to 270, and change the Y to 1. Now these have to be the exact same, and then don't forget to put a show right there. What the script does is it makes the tube move, and it starts it from the end. Now we're not done yet. What we need to do is go into events, control, forever if, drag that on there, go to sensing, touching, changes to last line or whatever line you have in the back. Put that there. This will make the tube actually reset back. So now duplicate your 270 block. As you can see, I have it right here. Undo the forever under it. Then I'm going to actually start the project. Put that in there and then go to looks, switch costume to, go to operators, pick random 1 to 3. So what this does is it varies the tube through the 3 costumes we have. If you have 20 costumes, for example, we'll change this to 20. And I also forgot adding a switch costume to pick random would be nice up here too. So one green flag clicked, put that up there. So now you will always have a random tube position. And one final script will just be when I receive game over, looks, hide. Now we have to go back and code the bird. So go back to the bird and actually make a new script. One green flag clicked, forever if, go into operators, grab 2 OR blocks or put them in there, go to sensing, touching color. Now the reason why I made you guys make a different color than all the colors in your background and your actual Flappy Bird sprite for the outlining of the tube was because it is how we are going to track if you hit the tube or if you don't. So for example, I'm selecting my tube color here and it's this gray, so I'm going to put it right here. And then also put in the script touching, put ground or your ground line, and then touching sky, your sky line. So this will make the Flappy Bird realize if it's touching this line, or this. So in Flappy Bird, if you hit the tube, the sky, or the ground, you lose. So actually just go into events, broadcast, game over for this script. Next script is going to be scoring. So go one green flag clicked, forever if, drag that in there, on top of that, sensing, touching color, and this is your coin is different than every other color in your games. And I just realized I made a mistake by not making my coin different than all the other colors in the game. So I just fixed that problem. This yellow is now different than this yellow, so now I can continue on with the script. So color picker, pick your coin. As you can see, that is the beginning of our script. Now just go to variables, change this to score by 1. And now we need to get a sound effect for collecting a coin. So go into sounds, choose the sound, and now this is the sound I'm using. It's called collect, just simple as that, and this is what it sounds like. So that's what I will be using. So go into your sounds, do your play sound, whatever, until done, and then go into control, wait 1 second. I forgot, put your sound in actually the forever loop. Now for our last script of the Flappy Bird, just go into events, when I receive, game over, go into control, stop, all other scripts in sprite, and then put looks, hide, but we also need a sound effect for losing. So go into sounds, choose a sound, and I actually have a sound effect picked out. It's actually called crunch. This is what it sounds like. So that's what I'm using. So go to sound, play, whatever, until done. So that is all of our scripts for the Flappy Bird sprite. Now we just need to make a game over screen. What we also need to do before we make the game over screen is make the background stop when game over happens. So go into your backgrounds, when I receive, game over, control, stop, other scripts and sprite, duplicate this, put it in this background sprite. Now this is your final result if your Flappy Bird hits the ground or sky or the tube. And if that happens, what just happened to me, all you have to do is go into your other background sprite, drag this game over script into this background. And this is what it should look like. Finally, let's add the last part of the game over screen. So go to paint. And what you want to do here is you really just want to make a big square that covers the entire screen, something like this, but you can still see the edges. So for example, let me make a nice one here. I'm going to make the fill a yellow, but then I'm also going to bring down, the saturation, the brightness until I find something I like. That's my game over screen. So for the code, what you want to do is you want to go to events, one green flag clicked, go to variables, show variable, put score, and then put hide variable score number 2. Then go to events, one green flag clicked, control forever, go to variables, set score number 2 to score. Go to events, when I receive game over, go to motion, x0, y0, then go into looks, show, go to variables, show variable, score number 2, hide variable, score. Now before you press the green flag, go to variables, show the variable score number 2 by clicking on it, double click on score number 2, and once your final score, you can put it like here, or put it under here. Alright, now let's see what our final result of the game looks like. I also have a lot more tutorials on my channel, so make sure to check it out. Anyway guys, that's all I have to say. Subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye!